In real life, we do not respond with just one ego state. In some situations, CP comes forward. In others, NP moves first. At other moments, A and FC may activate together, or AC and SC may pull in different directions and create tension. Human responses are not simple. Even in similar situations, some ego states work together, others collide, and depending on the combination, a completely different atmosphere can emerge. That is where chapter 2 begins. We are moving from reading one ego state at a time to reading what happens when two of them operate together. In part 0, we met the 6 ego states one by one. We learned the texture of CP. We saw how NP moves toward people. We saw how A organizes a situation. We saw how FC brings vitality into the flow. We saw how AC becomes cautious and adjusts. And we saw how SC holds onto a sense of self. We learned these basic qualities one at a time. Now in chapter 2 of part 1, we take one step further. This time we do not look at each ego state separately. We look at the personality texture that appears when two ego states are both high. That is the core idea of this chapter, the dual engine. The question is not what happens when one engine runs alone. The question is what kind of direction and speed appear when two engines work together. For example, warmth combined with firmness creates a very different person from warmth combined with direct self-expression. Thinking combined with spontaneity also creates a very different atmosphere from thinking combined with caution. Even two people who both seem like good people on the surface may speak differently, choose differently, and relate differently. Why? Because different ego states may be working together inside them. The outside may look similar. The inner engines may be very different. That is why chapter 2 follows Fables. Through characters and situations in those stories, we will learn to read the texture created when two ego states overlap and work together. Through characters in Fables, we first learn the structure of the baseline egogram. Then, on that foundation, we also look at how the momentary egogram may shift when someone faces a real-life event. Little by little, we also learn to notice the gap between the two. But there is an important caution. The scenes in chapter 2 do not always represent only the baseline egogram. Some may reflect patterns that repeat frequently in everyday life. Others may show a momentary response that rises briefly in front of a particular event. From one scene alone, it is difficult to know which is which. Did this happen often? Or did it happen only this time? One brief scene cannot always answer that question. To distinguish the baseline egogram from the momentary egogram, we need to know something about the person's usual flow. When we have watched someone over time, as we often do in a close relationship, comparison becomes easier. We may notice, this texture seems to repeat often for this person. Or, today, unlike usual, this ego state came forward for a moment. But when we are meeting someone for the first time, or seeing only a brief scene, we need to be careful. We do not yet know whether the reaction reflects the person's baseline structure or a momentary response to what happened that day. So in this chapter, we will not label every scene by saying, this is the baseline egogram, or this is the momentary egogram. We will leave that distinction to your A. The important thing is not to name the pattern too quickly. First, observe the flow. Notice which ego states come forward, and pay attention to the texture created when two ego states meet.